I know a lot's been made about unconscious bias and assessments can be subjective. Not at the MRC. They're very well quality controlled. Having said that, you could say some of the workplace-based assessments could be subjective, because there is, and I think there's more training needs to be done with trainers to be calibrated. And again, what the Clinic Talk app does, it's not perfect. It gives you initial starter for 10 for the trainers to improve upon. And I think there needs to be a lot more calibration amongst trainers. I'm often invited to Kuwait to do some TTT courses there. And every time I go, we do some calibration, because we need everybody on the same hymn sheet where the bar is the same level. So I really do think we need to think about that. And it's only a hypothesis. I don't want to cast aspersions. I wonder whether some of the ones who fail the exam, which shine the highlight and differentiator, they're probably not getting as constructive or supportive guidance as they should. So I do think, and I feel quite strongly, you probably noticed, and one of the reasons I feel that way, and I spent 3 decades trying to level the playing field. I've been lucky that people like Selva invite me to their IMG, SCA, and AKT courses, and my job, I think, is to make sure we level the playing field, we demystify exams, and that the good doctors, the safe doctors, pass. The unsafe ones that have the enough feedback to develop the skills to be safe doctors and then pass again, because we need lots of doctors. So I've gone on and on about it, but if I'm going to, and I've thought about different entertainment for a while, we need better induction and support for international medical graduates, and that's why the I&R exam includes induction. It stands for induction refresher exam. Okay, refreshers because people trained in the UK were coming back, so that was refreshment for them, but induction for international. I do think there needs to be cultural competency training for educators, so that they understand some of their own biases. Yeah. And there needs to be more targeted exam preparation, not to teach to the test, but to understand the test and learn how they can prepare better. And I think the other thing, which we'll probably talk about later, is actually for me, having enough role models, mentors, and leadership development. We actually need a much more diverse role models, where we need much more support networks. I mean, I'm at the end of my shelf life, but what I'm hoping is people can see that color isn't a bar to preventing you being an examiner or an academic in a university.
Tell us about the common misconception that you have noticed among some of the exam where people don't understand it and thus lead to pitfall.
A lot of the common misconceptions are that there's one way to do it and that's how they're going to pass. So, for example, I often say to them, we talk of ICE, ideas, concerns, and equipment. Who actually talked about ICE initially? Nobody ever really knows. And they do it as a mantra without understanding what it means. And it's a bit like people are told to do certain things because of tradition. Yeah, I won't mention any specific traditions because I don't want to be accused of, being against one culture or another. But I know in my own upbringing, there are certain traditions I thought to myself, what's that about? Yeah. And people do it, and people are beginning to use ICE as a tradition. Yeah. So one of the examples I tend to give people, so you've got your jumper on, Erwin. Do you feel the weight of your jumper?
You get used to it, isn't it?
You get used to it, absolutely. So you don't, but if you were wearing clothes that you weren't used to, like a sari, you would think, oh, it's falling off. There, yeah? So what I want people to do is, if they come across a concept like ICE, is actually say, can I own it? Or if I can't own it, let's not pretend I do it. Because if you do that, you then go through like we have a jargon in amongst them, mechanistic or robotic, where you're just going through a checklist. You're not taking notice. You say, what are your ideas about the headache?
If you found this video useful, you might want to watch the whole interview here. Click here to watch it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.